What's up, y'all? Ironius here, back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. In today's video, I want to go over two champion buffs that are happening and they're going to be updated for next week. It's going to be Elgias as well as Raglin, two old but now hopefully gold champions that we can bring into maybe PvP. Let's find out. All right, so first up, we've got Elgias. I do have this champion on my free-to-play main account. Maybe you have him as well. He's an older champion, Magic Affinity support type, undead legendary hero. Before his attack on A1, attacks one enemies, 25% chance of placing a block active skills for one turn only. The chance increases by 0.75% for every 1 HP this champion has lost. It's okay, so you could get a higher chance over time. Of course, he would have to lose a lot of HP, and therefore he's mainly a go second champion at that point for block actives, and you kind of want him to go first if you're going to try to place block actives if possible. But then again, with the introduction of Stone Skin, it's hard for him to place block actives. So let's see what it got changed to. Now it is attacks one enemy, 50% chance of placing block active skills for 2 turns, which is much stronger now, especially against mythical heroes. So if you're going up against mythical champs, you want to be able to block their active skills by multiple turns if possible, so they can't transform into their secondary forms and do either a lot of damage or control your team from taking a turn. So currently in game, we've got Elgias. Where is he at? Here he is. Does get booked out to... Okay, so it'll get booked to a 60% chance, which is nice. So that's great for the A1, much stronger than it was before. Makes him even stronger in PvE content as well. So you could definitely bring him in against wave content, and he'll be much, much stronger against specific waves of enemy. On his A2, attacks one enemy, puts the target's skills on cooldown, also places block buffs, debuff for 2 turns. That's just on one enemy, but puts their skills on cooldown is very strong on a single target. But that would mean you'd want him to go as fast as possible, and he would go right after your speed champion. He comes in as your second fastest or third fastest, whatever it may be. Then again, you have the likes of Fabian, who are a lot better at locking out all enemies and placing fears and stuff. But if you don't have Fabian, of course, Elgias could come in and at least lock out one champion on their team and hopefully swing the tide of battle into your favor. So that's the before. And then additionally, if the enemy team has any duplicates of the target champion, will also put their skills on cooldown and place block buffs for 2 turns on them. Okay, it's decent, especially in PvE waves of content where you have multiple Rotis or multiple Sifis, so on and so forth. Then yes, that does make a challenge. And then of course in Curse City hard mode, you're gonna want to use him, especially if he's allowed to be utilized, and try to put the skills on cooldown on multiple enemies if possible. And now it's changed to, the first part remains the same. Puts the skills on cooldown, block buffs for 2 turns. So it's okay. But again, if they have Stone Skin in PvP, it'll just put the target's skills on cooldown. And you also have to keep in mind affinity. He is magic, so going up against a red affinity, then if he weak hits, then it won't put their skills on cooldown. So keep that in mind. And if there are, so the change is, if there are new enemy or any enemy champions that share the same affinity as the initial target, it puts their skills on cooldown and places block buffs on them too. So that's a much stronger ability now. So he could be brought in as a niche pick. It's definitely off meta. It's not really meta. So it's kind of a niche pick if you don't have Fabian or other champions like Void legendaries that are blocking or increasing skill cooldowns. He's still going to be more powerful than he was before. He can be utilized in arena or classic arena or tag team arena, and he could put in some work. I mean, he's not going to be amazing, like the best, but he'll definitely be better than he was for sure on both of those first and second abilities. And then on his last ability, currently attacks enemies, 75% chance of removing 2 random buffs, also has a 75% chance of decreasing all enemies' turn meter by 20% and decreases the enemy turn meter by a further 10% for every buff he removes. Attacks all enemies, now the change, 75% chance of removing all buffs. Much stronger. Much, much stronger. Also has a 75% chance of decreasing all enemies' turn meters by 20%. Decreases each enemy turn meter by additional 10% for each buff removed. Okay, that's much stronger than it was before. Is he going to be meta? No, I don't think he's going to be game breaking by any means. I think he's going to be much stronger than before. Being able to remove all buffs is super powerful. So I will say Elgias, that was a great buff for him. He has been buffed before already, and this is now his second buff or even third buff at this point. So I think Elgias is definitely going to come into many players' teams, especially if you're early or mid game or even late game in arena and you need somebody to be able to remove all buffs, because it books out to a 100% chance, if I'm not mistaken, to remove all buffs. Yes, it does. So it's a 4-turn cooldown, so it is a long cooldown. I wish it was a 3-turn cooldown, but beggars can't be choosers. He also, keep in mind, has a chance of decreasing turn meters by 20% and additionally by 10%. So if they have a ton of buffs on, then he could be depleting their turn meter down by like 60, 70, 80, even 100% potentially, depending on how many buffs he's stripping from the enemy team. So do keep that in mind. And then, of course, his passive remains the same, where it prevents his death and keeps them alive on 1 HP when hit with a fatal hit. So that's like kind of having a relic involved, right? So Aspect of Siroth also prevents enemies' death. So for him, it just gives him another chance to potentially remove all buffs and decrease the turn meter of the enemies. Maybe you can come back and win. And he's still... So he actually could be pretty strong in niche situations. And it won't prevent his cooldown if he has heal reduction, but not a lot of players bring in heal reduction champions in arena, so that's not really a big deal. He's going to be better in arena, but he's not going to be like super meta. Let's go on to Raglin now. Raglin here definitely has the better of the two in terms of buffs, in my opinion. So currently on the A1, removes all debuffs from all allies and heals them. The heal amount is proportional to her attack, so if you build her with a lot of attack, she heals the allies by more. Now, the buff is removes all debuffs from allies, places an increased accuracy and an increased attack on all allies for 2 turns. That's kind of insane. All right, so A2, so it starts off with Mercy. So that means the A1 is staying the same. And currently the A1 attacks an enemy 3 times, fills the turn meter of 3 random allies by 15%. Allies can only have their turn meter filled once per turn by this skill. So already a pretty strong A1. It's fine that it stays the way it is. And additionally, heals all allies. The value of the heal is proportional to this champion's attack. And now additionally the HP. So if you stack her with really high HP, really high attack if you can get it, then she's going to be putting in some crazy work just with that A2 alone. Wow. Much better. Removing all debuffs and then increase accuracy and increase attack is very strong for 2 turns. And then for her miracle ability, which is her A3, currently revives the basic ascended version. Let's just read the ascended version. Revives an ally with 75% HP and a full turn meter. So that's only 1 ally on a 3-turn cooldown. And it books down to a 2-turn cooldown currently in game. So revives an ally, 75% turn meter, or 75% HP and full turn meter. So it pretty much gives them a turn, but in some cases you could still end up dying there because it's only 1 ally. It is on a 2-turn cooldown though, which is very strong. So that's kind of nice. That's probably the best part of her kit right now. And then for the buff, what's happening now? So when she's ascended, revives an ally with 75% HP and 100% turn meter. Also decreases the cooldowns of all the revived ally skills by 3 turns. Okay, so that's way better. It's still on a 2-turn cooldown when booked. Is absurd. That's actually absurd. She's actually insane now. She's actually kind of insane now. Now there's still another buff though. One more buff to her for the Blessed Invocation. Oh, she never had an aura, or a passive rather. So she's now going to have a passive. And it is, this champion is immune to block active skills and cooldown increasing. Damn. That's insane. She's immune to block active skills and cooldown increase. So champions like Fabian, she's going to be OP against Warlord. She's going to be OP against Yumeko. She's going to be OP against Crixia. You know, so Yeah, she's pretty disgusting now as a void legendary. And her current aura in game is defense in all battles by 33%, which is okay, but not insane by any means. I think she's pretty nasty now. And she has a pretty decent base speed of 104. Raglin's nasty. And then there's additional information on Raglin's A3 because there was a lot of questions on it. So they said, after watching your rebalance videos yesterday, wanted to quickly clarify something regarding Raglin's rebalance. In her A3, the wording regarding the turn meter was slightly changed from revives an ally with full turn meter to revives an ally with 100% turn meter. This part of the skill wording was changed strictly for the sake of consistency and won't affect her performance. She will continue to revive an ally with full turn meter. Okay, so she will revive an ally with full turn meter, which basically means they'll get pretty much an instant turn. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty awesome. I think the changes to Raglin are fantastic. Phenomenal. Beautiful. I wish they would buff more heroes or champions on a monthly basis, because they've already, if they are rebuffing old champions, they should buff another champion as well. But again, beggars can't be choosers. I think Raglin will now become a potential off meta or meta pick in certain situations. She's not going to be the best champion in the game, but she's going to be insane versus all lockout champions, especially if she's reviving one nuker and then you put her in double stone skin, really high resistance. She revives a nuker on your team that can AoE and gives you an additional chance, or she revives another support champion on your team who can then revive everybody as well. If you pair her with Marichka, she's going to be disgusting with Marichka, in my opinion, because she can just keep reviving Marichka over and over and over if for some reason the enemy team can't kill her. And yeah, no, I think Raglin's going to be disgusting. What are you guys' thoughts? Leave them in the comments down below. I'd be happy to hear it. Do you like the changes? Do you think they're great? Do you think that Elgias is going to be meta or Raglin's going to be meta? Let me know your thoughts, and I will see you on a video soon. Take care.